primary event this week, I think, is a request that all of you have had for quite some time. A few of you have been saying over and over again, you know, it'd be kind of cool. Where's Exilius? Where's Michael? Where's Exilius? You know what we said to ourselves? Fine, right? Because you wanted Dane, you got Dane. You wanted Wurari, you got Wurari. You want Exilius? Well, guess what, team? You're going to get yourself some Exilius. So I'm going to bring on our special guest this week, our very own Michael, a.k.a. Exilius. Welcome.
Hello. Happy time zone.
Happy time zone to you, man. Yeah, the uncrowned king of CTC captured the crown king.
That's true, yeah. Undefeated.
Undefeated. Love to see it. Everyone right there, please say hello to Exilius, to Michael. Welcome on board. It's nice to finally see your face and showcase it to everyone here on the Coreborn stream. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. First time on a stream, right?
Yes, I think it is your first time on stream as long as I've known. So, and people are saying in chat, doubt we defeated him. Well, I got a draw. I'm just seeing a bunch of nonsense that I don't believe in. So I'm gonna ignore all that.
Yeah, I mean, that could be lag or something, right? Maybe I was testing something. You never know.
I like that you being the quality assurance manager means you can say things like, you know what, I could have been testing something, to be honest. That's just what I do. By the way,
most of the time, that's why I lose, right?
Yeah, well, right now you're winning because we got a 13 gift sub from Karai Saraf.
Wow.
That only happens when people who are dope show up. Like, you showed up and within a minute, not even 2 minutes, within 1 minute, 13 gifted subs. You did that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you want to do my job for me?
Karai.
You want to do my job for me and say thank you to all the people who were gifted subs?
I guess I will continue to find the bugs.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for gifting a sub to Spliffy83, Garrick_DE, Halse Bols, Real Manatu, Jersey, Shakira, hello, Alexander, Dane Sounds, welcome back for 2 months, Syllabu, Romg93, Madro Belt, Dope, Go-To Guy, apparently you, 3 months, congratulations, and Nowhere Mass for 2 months.
Yeah, I also got a sub. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, welcome on board, man. So why don't we take this time and you can properly introduce yourself, your name, your title, and what it is you do here at Blankhans.
So my name is Michael. Some of you might met me at the Gamescom already. I'm a quality assurance manager. I'm 30 years old, and my hobbies are, well, basically playing video games and watching movies all day.
That's my favorite intro, actually, I think, so far, because a lot of times it's like, hey, this is my name and this is what I do, but yours went from like midway through what do I do to like a dating app. Like, hey, I'm 30 years old, I like plants, 9 p.m. Tuesdays I watch Law and Order. I like that. It's very personable.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises there, right?
No surprises.
So you already know what you get.
He is a manager, Greesh. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I don't think everyone gets to see all the work that Michael does behind the scenes. I'm talking like not only quality assurance for the game and testing and being really good at games, but also help tickets and extended help tickets. You recognize him because you've seen his name in Discord, answering questions, reassuring people. He's a utility person at Blankhans. There's not much that he can't do. So don't be fooled. He is a quality assurance manager, and the quality's looking nice these days. So thank you, Exilius.
Yeah, thanks. I give my best, right?
You do a great job with your best. So now you're making Coreborn one of the best with all the work that you've been doing. Tell me about your gaming life. Like, what did you grow up on? What games did you play? What led you to the idea of social sandbox survival?
Yeah, well, I guess it all started out as a kid, right? We went camping a lot, and one time I met our camping neighbors, and they had a Game Boy. So when I came back from our vacation, I wanted a Game Boy. So I got one to Christmas, right, with I think it was Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Game Boy Color, I guess.
Might have been
And yeah,
deluxe.
basically, yeah, it could be, yeah. Yeah, but then it basically started, right? And I every birthday, every Christmas, I got a new game. Like I played a lot of Pokemon, and
Nice.
then once I got older, I got a PlayStation. Back in the days with Metal Gear Solid, that was
Excellent
kind of
choice.
getting me really. That was getting me really into gaming, and then later on, when I had my first PC, I started to play an Asian MMO, which was called Silk Road back then. That was like the one of the biggest MMOs if you didn't want to play World of Warcraft at that time.
Yeah.
And after that, I switched to World of Warcraft and continued on like every MMO I tried later on after the MMOs, because they are really time intensive, right? I switched to other games like Ark or Conan, like more into the survival direction. So
Were you the one
Coreborn
inviting
was
all your friends to play MMOs? Like, were you the guy who was like, "Hey, I know you're playing World of Warcraft, but stop playing that and play this"?
yeah. Hey guys, I found a better MMO. This one will last for sure. Let's try it out.
Okay, everyone needs to
I
have
mean,
that
like,
one friend.
yeah, every release you gotta take, right? And if it's a good MMO, you can stay. And if it's a bad MMO, you just switch back to World of Warcraft.
I know that path. I went down it with Final Fantasy 11, and my friends talking me into playing WoW for a bit, and then saying, "No, don't play WoW. Play Aeon instead. You'll love Aeon." And I did for a hot minute. And then saying playing WoWstar, and I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do all that." But I like that your pathway took you down the natural progression of gaming is what it is. Like everyone's gonna go from eventually Mario starts you off, and you gotta hit up Pokemon sooner or later, and it all roads lead to Metal Gear after that point and PlayStation. So you went down the
That's
right
true, yeah.
pathway.
Yeah, I took the right decisions there, right? I mean, there was a big decision, PlayStation or Xbox back then. And I think, I mean, Metal Gear Solid was in the PlayStation, so I had to take it.
I like that it seems like you were already doing Coreborn as a youth because you played Game Boy while camping. Like you were already doing the Coreborn thing. You were gaming outside in survival wilderness.
That's true.
Do you remember
Yeah.
what game you were playing on Game Boy? The very first game you played from their Game Boy?
Yeah, I think it was on their Game Boy. I think it also was a Super Mario game. I'm not sure which one. I think it was Super Mario World,
Okay.
like the first one, I guess.
On Game Boy,
And
there's Super
Tetris,
Mario
of course.
Land, and there's Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and then on Game Boy Color, there's Mario Deluxe.
It could have been Mario Deluxe, I guess.
Oh, apparently
I mean,
Play Coreborn says you had a Halo phase. Like everybody else did? Yeah?
yeah, I actually, since I never owned an Xbox, I played Halo, but on like a friend of mine had an Xbox, so we went there to play Halo after school. But yeah, I never specifically had Halo myself.
You got lucky. There's usually a Halo, Call of Duty, SOCOM, or CSGO Team Fortress phase that everyone goes through. I went through, I think, 4 out of 5 of those.
I mean, we had a lot of LAN parties back then, right?
Yes.
Where everyone
yes.
put their gaming gear into an unstable box, carried it to the garage, and then you basically always had connection issues, right?
Yep.
Because the switch wasn't set up right, and then you played like Counter-Strike 1.6 and I don't know, I think Call of Duty 2 back then all day.
A lot of kids these days don't know the grief of trying to explain to your parents why you need to lug your entire PC in the car to go to a friend's house. Not the flat panel monitor, the big CRT Packard Dell beige monitor with the entire cabinet in case and saying, "Mom, I need it for LAN night. You don't understand."
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you got a nice comment already. Look at this. Chaos is saying, "From one quality assurance manager to another, I appreciate you."
Nice. Thanks a lot.
That sounds sincere. Thanks a lot. So tell me about your day to day quality assurance manager. What do you do? What have you done lately? Without spoilers.
Well, basically now with our upcoming content, we have a lot to test in that direction, right?
Yep.
I have to make sure that the night is dark enough and but you can still play.
Yes. Very well put.
And yeah, I mean that's basically the day-to-day, right? The departments basically they do their content, they put it on our test environment, and we try to break it as much as we can. And I mean we break a lot of stuff, and then it goes back to the department, and we say, hey, this part broke, or this could be exploited, and then it will get fixed.
It's my
So
favorite thing to do
basically,
in games is to make exploitations happen. When I play through games, I'm like, what did they not test? And I'll try to cheat something and go, oh, wow, someone knew about this and tested it over and over again, so you cannot make this jump. And that's you. You're the one doing that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like some bugs never surfaced, right? But were found later on, and then we fixed them. Like it's like sometimes you have to jump a weird angle on a cliff, and then something happens. Then it needs to get fixed because someone could accidentally jump in that angle on the cliff, right?
Yep. We've had a few times you go down a mountainside or a cliffside, you jump down the wrong passageway, you're stuck, and you go, can I jump out of here? I cannot jump out of here. So if I can't jump out, I know they can't jump out.
Yeah. I mean, like the whole map border has been tested that you can't get out. Everything needs to be tested, and every time something new comes, that part has to be tested extensively, so we don't have any problems on shipping. And later on, we also get the customer tickets, right? If there is some issue on a server also, we check this, and if bugs are reported, we track them and assess them, how important they are, so we can deploy a hotfix, for example. Like this week, we deployed the hotfix for a graphics issue that was affecting some users.
And you put a lot of work into those too. We see quality assurance tickets open quite often for so long because we're constantly testing to make sure this is ready to go and this is fixed. Like the monitor resolution thing was a big thing for a while. People who had 4K monitors or widescreen monitors not showing up there properly, and I haven't seen those tickets pop up in a while. So clearly, you're doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's also a testing thing, right? We deploy a hotfix that maybe fixed it for 90%, but then we can determine what's the problem with the rest, the 10% that don't, like they still have the problem, right? So we can readjust that, check the logs, and it's cool.
It feels like
exciting.
the trolley problem at that point, the trolley problem of like, do I make this resolution thing fixed for this 90% right here and this 10% on the train tracks? We just got to pull it and it'll be all right.
Yeah, that's always the decision, right? How do you make it so everyone is happy about it?
Yeah, I agree. Apparently, Greece says the dash jump is normal, right? XD.
Yeah, I mean the dash jump is like one of those tickets that they are tracked, but they have a lower priority, right? I mean the dash jump is cool, but currently it's still a feature. It might, depending on priority, it might turn into a bug at one point, and then it gets fixed.
I like that. That's the language that's used. It's still a feature. It's not a bug.
Yeah.
We know how to look at that properly. Hey, look at that. Tobson apparently has some insight as well right there, saying, speaking of fixing, the last patch indeed fixed the DX11 workaround thingy. Nice job.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Right, this was also a problem that I couldn't reproduce on my machine, for example, but we could determine by talking with the engineers how everything is set up, what could cause it, and then we tried that and we saw it doesn't break anything. So this only made the game better, and now we ask the users for feedback if it really helped. And so far, I can tell the tickets I got back to all confirmed it's now working for them, and no more problem with the graphics.
Exilius, I wonder, as a quality assurance manager, how has your perspective changed, if it has at all, when you play games now, when you've gone from on the outside playing games and wondering, like, why isn't this fixed, or why isn't there an update saying, hey, we've got it half fixed, and at least letting me know you're working on it half fixed, to now where you're behind the scenes doing the fixing for everybody else, and you're like, oh, I get it now. How has that changed now?
Yeah, I mean, it changed a lot, right? When I now see bugs in a game, I think to myself, okay, this bug is still here, but maybe they had way more important bugs that need to be fixed first, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe in some bugs, the case is like, you could take 3 days now of an engineer to fix the bug, or you just rework the feature later on, and I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later or something, and then the bug is fixed anyway, right? So that's also something that you have, like, you know now also how long it takes to fix certain bugs, right?
Yeah.
Like, for some they say it's easy, just fix it, but an engineer really has to look into the code and check everything, and also quality assurance has to recheck everything. That's processes that can take a bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of respect for other quality assurance managers now that track those things and find them before they surface in the game, right?
Yeah, and you're hitting the nail right on the head. I think I also have a new perspective and a new appreciation because even this week, because of Steam Next Best, I have a few demos I'm checking out, and I've seen demos are releasing like a little bit of patch updates, and the patch updates all read like, "Hey, we corrected a UI thing right here for the game," and it's the kind of thing where as a player I go, "Oh, I didn't even notice that was a thing because that wasn't prioritized to me. My prioritization was the gameplay and this, and none of that was broken. So I didn't really care about the UI. But I'm sure there are people out there who noticed it and said, "Oh, why isn't that being addressed and fixed?" And it's like you said, is that the important part of what we need to address right now?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the users help a lot, right? They report things, they find that some things are there we overlook, right? Some
Yes.
I don't know, resources spawn too high, for example. But with the feedback we get from the users, we can find the locations, for example, and the level designers will put the resources more towards the ground so they can be harvested, and that helps a lot. Like, the user feedback is great, and
Yep.
every bug ticket is nice to see, right? I mean, okay, they found a bug that I missed basically, or that we missed, but still we can fix it now, and we found it, right? That's the great thing.
No, it's really cool because the bug reports and the commentary and the ideas and the feedback all shows that people care about whatever game it is. It shows they're invested. Like I care enough to let you know that I was walking down this one pathway here and there's one lamppost floating out of the ground. I could have easily walked past it and said, I don't care, it's not affecting me, but I want to point out, hey, this shouldn't be happening, bro. Like, can you fix this? It's hampering my experience. It's not doing anything, but
Yeah,
I see it.
that's true. Yeah, and as Grish is asking the character rotation, that's something he reported some days ago. That's already forwarded, and the engineers currently look at it. That's a bug he found in the character creation, that nowadays, for some reason, you can't rotate the character when creating anymore, and that's something the engineers will look into, and hopefully we get it
How'd you
fixed
find
soon.
that, Greece? How'd that even happen? What were you doing? Make another
Yeah, I'm
character
not
somewhere
sure. I
else? You
think
get a different IP, buy another copy of the game?
Grish has one town with all of his characters himself.
Just Greaseville. I like that.
Yeah,
Welcome to Greaseville. And by the way, play Coreborn, you're welcome. I wear many hats. One of those is influencers. And I was like, you know what? You probably haven't played a trolley game in a while. Let me just throw that out there and make sure. Right there. Hey, I like this right here. I got a group that plays every year on one weekend in a LAN party.
oh, yeah, that's nice. Like a get together that you have every year.
Yeah.
But is it like really competitive then? Like, is it, damn, I lost this year, I have to win next year, and then you
Yeah.
prepare the whole year for the next LAN party? Because for us it was sometimes like that, right? You knew on the next LAN you don't want to lose in the Call of Duty match.
See, that's what we need for Coreborn. We need to release Coreborn in the late 90s and have a LAN party of just a Coreborn town. You want to have 60 people on one server? Cool. Get 60 people in one room. Do it the
Yeah, I
proper
mean
way.
that. Yeah, that can be challenging, right? The fight for resources then, like all at the same time in the same
Yeah.
room. You took my gold.
Yes. So I'm going to take your chair.
Yeah.
I like that. No, it's only fun. Good response. I like
Uh,
that.
that's great. Yeah.
So, Michael, what would you say right now is the biggest bug that you're most proud of in Coreborn that when you finally nailed it? Like, what was the most agonizing one that you finally nailed it and said, yes, it's done?
Oh, there are a lot of bugs that we are really happy that we could fix them. When I think about it,
Okay, you can name the top
I mean,
5 or
we
3.
had an issue with I guess we had an issue with the stacking perks, and I'm really happy that we finally fixed that. There was a problem that sometimes stacks didn't apply the stack value right. So you took out, I don't know, a stack of wood, for example, and it only stacked to 100, but
Yeah.
you had the hoarder perk, and normally you should have 150 in your inventory, or you should be able to stack them to 150. And this one was a tough one to find and required a lot of work to fix it. But as far as I'm aware, there is no more bug that can be caused by the hoarder perk. And I mean, there was like 5 bugs that were intertwined in that perk, right? They had different reasons why they occurred, but yeah, I think nowadays the hoarder perk should work perfectly.
That's good for the hoarders, especially, and inventory management as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, like some bugs that got filtered out right by us. So where you like areas where you could leave the map or ways to dupe items, those we kind of find pretty quick normally, because we try to find them soon and we prevent them as much as we can. And
yeah, duping's a big
I think
no. That's a game breaker.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the game not fun anymore, even for the person who abuses it, right? So they basically have infinite resources and then they don't know what they can do all day, right?
Do you ever have like a eureka moment where you just can't get a bug solved and you're just laying down in bed like this, get ready to close your eyes, and you go, wait, I gotta log on. Oh.
I mean, like I don't really solve the bug myself, right? I give it to the engineers look at it, I help them to find the cause of it. But sometimes there are things where I basically late at night I think, I should try that tomorrow. I mean, that could break the game, right? So like I don't know, trying certain things, right? That's sometimes it's like that. What happens if you, I don't know, move like this and in that angle jump into a tree, for example? What could happen there? And then you try it and then you see, okay, you can get under the map by this or something like that, right? And I think, okay, nice, good that I tested it.
Has quality assurance right now working on Coreborn translated to real life now, where you're quality assurancing things in your real life that you didn't before?
No, not really. Not. I mean, yeah. Some kind. Yeah. Sometimes I see like I don't know. I think my vision got kind of sharp towards those things, right? I see a glass on the table and I think, okay, if someone hits that table in a bad way, this could fall down, right? So I move it just a little bit more inward the table. So I guess could be that this is. I mean, it could also be that I'm getting older, right?
No, it's a good mindset. It's like being a good parent. You start doing quality assurance management around the household. You start thinking like, okay, if I was a baby walking around the house, what outlets would I see? What corners are too sharp? Would I try to eat that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to approach house security, right? Just the safety, making it baby safe.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. Playing Coreborn, yeah. Michael basically says, if you all were babies playing Coreborn, how do we do this?
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be baby safe, right?
Yes, exactly that. Well, we already got one answer. Warsu's first answer is, I would just try to eat it, no matter what it is.
Okay, that's actually a lot of things we try with the items as well, right? If a new item gets generated, we use it first to see if we not actually eat it. And there were items you could eat before that we found, and then that got put to non-consumables.
No, it makes sense. I see certain graphics. My first thought is if my character eats this, what happens? If I see mountain pathways, I go, all right, I know, like visually the game is telling me in a story-wise way that I shouldn't be over there, but what if I just try to get over there?
What if I just climbed there and then write a ticket and then stuck?
Yeah, like if I see Megalosis Strider in the background, like why don't I just try to get over there? Maybe they're programmed in, maybe they're physical and I can ride them. Who's gonna stop me?
I mean, you have to test it, right? I mean, that's the thing. That's the spirit in every game. Like in every open world game, you try to see where the borders are, and sometimes you find a secret, and sometimes you get stuck and have to write a ticket and wait 3 weeks till you get unstuck. In some games, like that's from personal experience. I had it in some games that I got stuck in some areas and then I needed to wait. Luckily, we have an unstuck button for that now. So
It's-
in Coreborn, you shouldn't get stuck anywhere anymore.
That's true. The unstuck button is a real gem, especially for those who don't carry around the proper materials to build planks wherever you go, even though you should.
That's true.
Number one rule: if you go out exploring, bring enough for planks.
Yeah, and a campfire.
Yes, and a campfire. Campfire and plank ready at all times. And a Game Boy.
Yeah.
At the opportunity. So thank you, Michael. As we move forward, we have a Q&A for all of you. We promised, and we have that Q&A, and we're going to go ahead and read through this for all of you. So welcome to the Q&A portion. What if we could just place infinite town expansions? No. No.
I mean, that was working at one point, but yeah, that bug also got fixed.
I love watching those bugs tested.
Greesh has inside info on that because it first occurred on their server back when I think back in the beta where we tested it, and that way we could detect it and fix it. And that's already great.
I agree. Testing for town expansions and also testing verticality limits is my favorite thing to watch happen. How high can we go?
Yeah, that's cool to see.
Okay. So the Q&A we put out there for all of you. We chose many of the questions as part of that Q&A to make sure people didn't feel like they were being ignored. A few of them we couldn't get to. Obviously, can't choose every question, but I feel like a large majority of them have been answered. So we're going to go ahead and read through these, and we'll probably just take turns for these. The first one comes from Mauricia, who said, how do you guys feel with the current ease of leveling in comparison with the investment? And one of the answers we have for that is that currently the game is in some areas too easy, which I'm sure, especially if your name is Greece, you would agree with that. While others, there's some unnecessarily hard content or content is stretched without need. And so what that means for us is that we will have to put more efforts into more and better balanced game all the way through. So that way, if you want your hard content, if you want your easy content, it's easy to find that gradient. You know, it's easy to go from white to white gray to gray black to black, as opposed to just it's white and it's black. And I think you can speak to that too, Michael, when thinking back to the earlier parts of the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some improvements we already did in that direction, right? We saw that grinds in some areas where I don't know, maybe just boring, right? In the for those who remember, in the start of the early access, you, for example, for the woodcutting, for the woodworking skill, you had to craft basically 50 wooden handles, and I mean, we saw that this isn't really a good way to do the leveling there, so we included that you can also get the experience when placing structures, wooden structures, for example. So that was a thing where we could already on feedback balance it a bit more, take some steps towards the players that reported it and put it as feedback to make it better.
It's a hard balance to figure out. Here's content we want you to do, where you can't reach max level in 2 days and go, okay, well now what do I do? But also not to the point where like I don't have 2.5 months to invest just to get my woodworking where it kind of needs to be. Like I just don't have that time.
Yeah. I mean, like there was a lot of testing in regards to the values as well, right? I can remember we had one time like I don't know, like 50 times higher ratings on the test server, so you had to cut like 10 hours of trees to basically make a level there.
Yep.
But yeah, we tuned it down.
Nicely done.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna take the next question, which is from Modosco, who is I think here, right? I think he said he's in the lurk. So, what features do you think are most likely subject to change? And yeah, that's something we basically adjust towards the players, right? So, if you have feedback and you say you don't really like a feature on that, or that, we will improve that. Also, we did the survey, right? You could answer which feature you would like to see, so we can shift our priority towards that. And I guess in the long run, everything will change to some extent, right? There is always something we can improve in the areas. And with that, I'm coming to the next question of Wodoska. That's also part of this one. what features are you do you think are least likely subject to change compared to what you expected to be at release in around 2 years? And the thing is, I think the most satisfying one is the weapon part crafting, because this one is a really cool feature that got implemented, and it's quite unique, right? You can do your own weapons, your own twist, and I guess that's something that won't change that much, I guess.
It's so deceiving because for the longest time you can you can see a sword that looks like, I think I had that as my level 1 baby sword. But then you see everybody else using the parts in there, and it turns out they're using rare components, and they're not using common components anymore. So it looks like it's still your common sword, but it's not. It's a completely different build just because they decide to go the critical hit route, like me.
That's true. Yeah. And maybe, I mean, depending on feedback, maybe there will be some improvements to make that stand out more, right? That if you see someone, for example, that you see he uses a rare handle, for example.
Yeah, for sure. The next one is from Torxed Flower Power, which is an engineering nerd question. Will there ever be a public API to query server information, mainly to allow for community-created content to offload expectations on the in-game material? Very good question. And the idea is that it's not planned yet. Okay, it's not planned yet. And it's a nice idea. And basically for you, Torx, any suggestions that you have or information you'd like to receive on that, please just make sure to let us know. You obviously have an interest in it. Like it's not yet thing, but the idea itself is very nice. And then you follow that up also with, will there be a simple add-on support at some time? And we do hope that at some point we'll be able to offer like an adventure editor for sure. That sounds like a nice approach to the game. And that's a dream of us to have here at BlindCons, to have for Coreborn. But that's far away dream after the full release. Again, it comes down to prioritizing things. What's the most important thing for us? You know, that includes making sure the game runs smoothly, getting the content out there, having Darkest of Night out there, working on Liquid Meadows, making sure the bug fixes are out there, so that once you have the content that was promised and the new people, everything runs cleanly, then we can start working on things like add-ons. Because, I mean, do you want to add on to things that are incomplete? I don't know. Maybe you do, but maybe not right now. Good question.
It's a great question. I'm already excited to see what we can do towards that, right?
Yeah.
It's great if users can also put in some ideas, and an adventure editor would be cool. I mean, it would be a lot of testing of user created content.
Oh
but
my god!
it would be nice.
A lot of help tickets.
A lot of help tickets. Huh? So then the next question is by Kalen. Will there be lore items like books or notes in the game? And to that, we plan to add some more lore items, but we are hesitant to add a lot more because Coreborn is a survival game, and it's not. We don't expect it to be an RPG, right? So we will try to better provide information about the world, but there won't be like a full fleshed out, I don't know, like in other games where you collect like 80 books and you can read the whole story or something. We will try to find a way to implement a way to provide the lore towards you better, but yeah, no full RPG mode. And the second question, is there a plan to add more singing giblings?
Good question.
I mean, that's also a good question, but at the moment there is no plan to add more of them because they are quite unique, right? And we don't want to overuse it, that you have a singing gibling everywhere. And yeah, it's the first side of it is cool, right? You see a singing gibling, but if you see 50 of them every time you go anywhere, then might be not so nice anymore.
No, I completely agree. It was one of the coolest things. We first launched and I was showing my friends the game. Even to this day when I'm showing them the game, one of the cool things is most of them never see it. And I'll go, hey, do you go to Piper's Whistle often? Well, not really. Go over there and let me know when you find a winding ramp. Why? Just let me know. When you do, you'll know when you get there. And it's a cool little thing. When they sit there and they find it, no one just finds it and runs away. They stand and they listen to the entire song. So it's a nice little thing to have just in that one moment, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I wanted to make it like for a while. I'm working on sub alerts to figure out how we're gonna do that. And one of the questions was, we're gonna have a singing gibbling alert. I'm like, look, Karai just gifted 13 subs. Can you imagine hearing that singing gibbling 13 times in a row? Because I can, and I don't want to imagine that. I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, I once had to check the gibbling animation, and I basically spent there 2 hours or something, and every time he started to sing again.
Oh, by the way, Karai Seraph, thank you for keeping it real. You know what it is. Repeat after me. WIP soon. That's all you gotta say. Look at play.
True. WIP soon.
Look at play Coreborn right here. Dane and I discussed auto-tune gibbling lately. What are these conversations?
It's a hot topic, I guess. But I mean, could fit somewhere. It could fit.
Styles Clover, you said, hey, I'm just a bit curious if we can expect more variations for the building structures. For example, the Lightwood set has walls with gaps and without gaps, and Windows has only a version without gaps, and the Dora has only with gaps. Also, maybe different wall heights, like different percentages to make the building better, and not clip everything into each other or a triangle-shaped foundation. I think it's safe to say, after watching last week's stream, yes, definitely, half walls and other variations are planned. If you didn't get a chance to tune into last week's stream, keep in mind you can watch it right here on our Twitch page. Go to the videos section, or you can go to YouTube. But we had a preview of that last week, adjusting the foundations, the ceilings, the walls. So all those little gaps you have, the triangles, all the different finagling you've been doing to cover it up. Like when I grab posts and just put in like 6 posts to fill in where a wall should be because it looks cleaner than having one wall stick out forward and backwards just to cover it up. Yeah. WIP soon is now WIP sooner. So, yes.
Pretty soon, once all the testing is done regarding to that.
Love it.
It's a great feature. Yeah? I really like it as well to test with it, and it's cool. It gives a lot of possibilities.
Yes.
So the next question is by Bad Words. Could the stats for certain items be listed in the recipe before we craft them? Would be nice to know which armors are chill resistant versus heat resist, or which weapon parts do crit versus attack damage. And this is a great suggestion, right? We read that on a lot of feedback, and we will discuss it internally how we will handle that in the future. The thing is, some things can't be listed directly because they get generated randomly, right? We have a system that makes all the items basically unique, so they shouldn't have the same stats, but show the base stats on the hilt and the guards and the blades. That should be definitely doable. So we will look into that. And the second question is there a chance a compass will be added to the game so there's a better sense of direction in forests? And a chance, we have a chance for a compass, but right now we are not planning one. We might make a survey again soon, and there you can maybe have it as an option to vote for, right? But currently you also have a possibility to direct yourself by opening the map, right? The arrow shows you in which direction you move.
Yep, little by little, there's been changes to direction. Because when the game first launched, it was go to the NPC who tells you, man, it's so great to be able to just look over and see where Korheim is, and you always know which direction Korheim is facing, so you already know which direction to go and where north is. And now it's like, all right, you can open your map up. And then opening your map up turned into now you can spin with your map and you know which way you're pointing the entire time. So little by little, changes have been made. Signposts are still there, so never know. Good question.
Yeah.
Tainalt, will there be higher defensive walls on which you can have a battlement? Most likely, yes, but it's not planned for this year. Again, it's one of those things that it sounds cool, and I'm sure when it necessitates that, cool. But things have been added slowly over time that are not, the higher defensive walls, like beds and buckets and lanterns. So things are getting added in, so I would say it's a good likelihood. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so too. Yeah. then Zark has or Zark, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, said, "Hello there, first great game so far, nice setting, like it. Gives me back the feeling I had 23 years ago starting EverQuest, if someone remembers."
Wow.
That's already
Yeah.
already a great question if it starts like that, right? So, and his burning question is addressing a handicap, and that's the color blindness, red and green weakness. And he would like an option to change the colors of attack zones from enemies. He has troubles fighting mobs on green ground because the red zone is kind of hard to see. And he says, "Thanks in advance, and still go on with the good work you all do. Thanks a lot." And to that, we are thankful for the feedback. The accessibility features like color blindness, motion sickness, and other topics are important parts, and they are on our roadmap until full release. But it might take us sometimes towards the full release till we can finally conquer them. But they are important topics, and they are on our roadmap.
Yep. Accessibility is always a huge feature, I think, in any game release, and making sure the game is accessible to everyone and that the game does not render your ability to play the game the same way everyone else does. So, yeah, great question.
I think we already did one thing in that direction. I think currently there is a setting, reduce motion, in the game where you can adjust the camera shake.
Yes. Disable camera shake was huge because, I mean, I'm one of those that the first thing I do when I go in a game, if there's a camera shake on hit feature, I turn it off. If there's a motion blur feature, I turn that off too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean there are players that really like motion blur, but I don't really play with motion blur a lot as well. So, but yeah, we're working towards that.
Yeah, I play Coreborn, EverQuest. I can't believe you've worked on that still. That's amazing. That's so cool. Tazler, like Dazzler, but with a T. What's the correct pronunciation of Feydver? Feydver. Feydver.
Feydver.
Yeah. It's like a Fey, then apostrophe D, and like a hyphen, and then Veer. Feydver.
Yeah, Feydver. Yeah. Yeah, that was an easy one.
Hey, I'm all done here.
Okay, next one is from Go-To Guy. What happened to the Shroomlings and the Shroom Train boss from the first shown footage? Will we see them again? Yeah, I guess the Shroom Train will make his appearance again, and with his little Shroomlings. And I think you have some concept art, some.
I think I do actually. Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
But it's WIP soon. Right?
Yes, WIP soon, just like everything else. Actually, I can show this off right here. Let's go ahead and do this screen really quickly. Does this screen work? Got this right here. And let's just make sure this scene works. Yeah. Shroom Train.
Yeah.
As promised.
As promised. It looks cool. That's basically concept art of the different color variations, right?
Yeah.
Where we choose which color we will take.
I mean, don't look at this. Oops. You never saw it. Yeah. But that's why you watch the live stream. Because who knows? That may be edited out for the VoD. Or it might be kept in there. Who knows? That's why you always tune in live when the alerts go live. I'm ready to risk it all at any point. For everyone. Welcome. Up next, we have Azalea. Hiya. Just curious if there are any plans for more shops in the main social area. It feels odd, kind of oddly walking around and only having one vendor to interact with. So obviously it's a data question because if you've logged in lately, Yeah, there are some vendors you can go there now. So if you want to trade in your resin for a better resin, you can do that. And they're all over the place, not only in Korheim, but all over the world of Ambrose now. But right there, you can do it in Korheim. But we'll have more for sure. Want to make Korheim? It's the social hub area, right? It's where you go to congregate, to trade, to do very early entry vendor trading, to do adventure mode, even though you can do it from your town. But yeah, it's meant to be a social hub, so we're gonna work on making that as social as we can.
Nice. So now a big question from Ryan. We know the major release are going to be centered around the upcoming nations playable races. Are there updates going to release frequently? By frequently, I mean every 6-ish months, meaning all 6 nations races will be released in 2.5 years, roughly when the full release is expected to drop? Or will these major updates be more of a combined release, such as 2 or more nations races every year in one bigger, less frequent update? And as you might have all heard in the stream before the previous stream, right? Liquid Meadows is we already started to work on Liquid Meadows, and as soon as we are finished with it, it will be released, and then we start the next nation. We also plan with more frequent updates. We try to release regular updates, and sometimes smaller fixes come in between them, right? But the plan is to do bigger content updates, for example, Darkest the Night, which will come soon, and then continue with more big updates. And yeah, as soon as we have the content ready, we will release it and not kind of cluster it and release it in one. Right? I think that was the main thing of the question. And next question by Ryan is, are there any plans to add in-game rewards for either supporter pack players and or early access players in order to show that said players supported the game early on, be it through cosmetic titles, etc.? I guess there could be cosmetics, right? I mean, maybe something like hats or something.
Hats.
Such things would be cool.
People keep talking about hats and headgear, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The past few streams, people have been saying things like there was a Malsteer hat and a Gibling hat, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Weird.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
We'll
see.
And there's another question. There are some more questions. Now, for a much smaller question compared to my previous one, are we going to get to visit Megalos or Megalospolis? I think the city name on Megalos is Megalospolis.
Yeah.
Or is that going to remain an unexplorable point of interest? I can understand the technical difficulties involved in such a feat, but I would love to be able to traverse the walking city. For that's not decided yet. We have to learn and develop a few more things before we can take a decision here. We would like to make it accessible, but we don't know yet in which form. So when we get the updates with the new region, they are going to be directly connected to Ambrose, and in such a way that you can, for example, walk from Ambrose into the lithical plains.
Yep. Cool.
Like, yeah. So we can't really tell yet how we're gonna do the traveling towards the bigger cities and how we're gonna do the traveling towards other regions. In that case, they will be connected. And on the previous question, if like it's a long one. It's a wall of text.
It is.
A follow-up to the previous question is, if it's a separate instance, would it be a base build area, or will building towns remain exclusively to Ambrose? Right. He would prefer building locked to Ambrose, but he can also accept that you would be able to build in other regions. And the answer for that is you will need to establish new towns in these regions. So if we make a new region, you will also have to build towns there.
Sounds good.
The next question, yeah. Yeah, that's his last question. With the attempt invasion into the nation of Coreborn by Sorgoth and his legion, will we be expecting larger barrier breaches before all of the nation races are unlocked, or will we see Sorgoth related content such as raids or dungeons separated from invasions before the release of all 6 nations or regions? And for that, we can't really say anything yet. Like, you will have to wait. We have ideas around that and plans, but nothing we will share yet. It's all, yeah. What Chris said, it's WIP soon.
That's we always go back to right there. There it is again. It's just right there. WIP soon. Roadmap. The best friend in the world. Hope that helps, Ryan. Great reading, by the way, Exilius. Way to get the stamina to go through all those.
I tried my best, yeah.
All right. I'll take the next 3 and give you a little time to recover.
Okay.
All right. Ryozaki said, can't get enough of the game. I'm looking forward to its future. It is extremely promising. Are there any plans for a higher town cap at the moment, or will 30 be the maximum for a longer time? So, yes, as we bring in newer regions and materials, you'll be able to raise your town level and unlock new things. That's one of the benefits, right? Is being able to raise your town level up so you can get access to building with stone at level 5 or getting your town expansion at level 3 or whatever and doing all those things. Yes, but that also means that town attacks will get harder just like they do now. You fight a corrupted Fadevere and the next thing you know, Sorgoth's minions show up and it's not a great day. So a couple of you might recall the Shield Gothkin, for example. Now you have the regular Spear Gothkin, you have the Raver Gothkin, as I call them. So Shield Gothkin could be very much in your future and make an appearance. So keep in mind, yes, you'll raise your town level up, but yes, the attacks will get harder as well. And that goes back to earlier, the first question too, as far as finding a balance, I think, between easy and hard, where you can expect that the game will get harder as you progress your levels, which is, I think, a natural occurrence in games.
Yeah, that's true. And also, regarding the town level grind, we also reduced the requirement in the early levels already. So we saw some feedback there and made it kind of easier obtainable to have a medium level town, so you can have access to certain stations, for example.
Yep. Same person says, are you happy with the time it takes a small group of players to reach level 30 so far, or do you want to further adjust the experience to make it more challenging and easier? It seems to be okay for now, especially if you ask Greece right there. Developers like us as developers, we're never happy. Some levels are too easy, others feel just right, but we're not really at a point right now where we feel like any are super challenging. That, by yourself, a lot of time. We had one player in Discord who was going up to like level 20 by themselves, which can be challenging, but it's all about how you build your town and how you navigate. If you just have a pathway and an arch and that's it, and you're like, wow, I'm getting squashed. Yeah, probably. You got to put up some defenses. You got to make the pathway harder to navigate. You got to put up some decoys. You have to invest the time to make it a defensive structure. If you have just like a town, like, I don't know how you expect to stop an invasion with just a town and go, oh no, my town center is so exposed. How am I losing? That's how. So make your defense as pretty as you do everything else, I would say. Good question.
Yep.
I'll do this last one right here too. Loivado said, looking at the current rare mobs, I would like to know if any of these should be a proper challenge or only doable as a group. Great question. For me, currently the mobs I encountered, bears, vidirvi, horses, beavers. We're just making up our own names. All right, cool. Horses, beavers, and bears. Wonderful. They feel rather easy for me. That goes back, I think, to the original question. Balancing is required for sure. Combat is overall too easy in most parts and doesn't have real progression. That's something we like to change. Look, I remember playing in the earlier stages, which is where the never KO thing came from, where certain hits just hurt really hard. And then we made it easier. Then the game launched, and a few players who played at launch were like, I can't dodge anything. I'm getting hit by everything. These cheese beavers are undeniably the worst things on earth. The Grizz are unbeatable. And we're like, all right, fine, patch. And then a week later, everyone's like, I got my revenge. I'm killing every Grizz in sight. Look, I'm fighting 17 at once. I'm unstoppable. It's like playing Star Wars Force Unleashed, right? So there's a happy balance, I think, to discover there. You know that, Michael.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, for some, like the first Europalas were like an Elder Scrolls boss, or like a Dark Souls, Elden Ring boss or Dark Souls boss, right? Where you died like 10 times before you finally finished the Europala to get your resin to finally craft your eggs.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard to tune them, but we will retune them, I guess, in the future. Like all content, right? We will revisit it and improve it.
Agreed.
All right. Should I take the next one?
Yeah.
All right. That's from Ginny D. Are there any plans to allow movement while swinging the axe and pickaxe? And I think that's should already be possible, right?
Yeah, we did
yes.
it.
That's a yes. So this one was a free one. I take the next one as well, I guess.
Okay.
That is from Koji Flute Gnome. Are there any other games you take inspiration from? For example, in points like game mechanics, combat feature, comfort features, design, etc. And yeah, there are plenty. Like the skill system is a prominent example because it was highly influenced by a game called Life is Feudal,
Yep.
which was also a game I played back then. Also, there is influence of Sons of the Forest, Minecraft, Rust, Conan Exiles, Valheim, V Rising, and even Genshin Impact found its way into our game. We got influenced by it for the swimming.
Good games. Big fan.
And the second question is, are hidden Easter eggs planned or already available? And there are some Easter eggs in the game already, and more might come. And some I don't even know. Like some are, I bet, really good hidden into some, I don't know, rocks or caves or.
Huh. Yes, what a name, Longschlongus.
Yeah.
Yes, really said life is
Yeah,
feudal for the skill system right there. Have you looked into Enshrouded? And takes me from this game. I personally have never heard of Enshrouded. Rise to Rap, so I can't speak to that.
I haven't played it yet as well.
So I don't know. Berry Liquid. Will there be caves in the current map to explore more? Deep caves that hold special loot, dangers, monsters, and bosses. Abandoned mining cave is good for gold ore and other ores along the way. We plan to implement caves, for sure, especially for the Ambrosian map that already exists and expanding that along the way. Working in more caves. I've seen some behind the scenes work of some artwork for some of the caves, and it looks beautiful. Like the things that are to come look really, really good. And with these new caves, you're going to find things like special resources, unlocking new recipes, which is always the thing you want to do as you implement new things. You want to have new things come along with them. You don't want just new areas to look pretty. You want new things to come along with those new areas. So yeah, we'll have to see. The big thing is looking at the roadmap. A lot of times, even before we get to the streams or a patch update or Coreborn news, if you're following the roadmap along the way, you'd be surprised what you can discover ahead of time before anyone else. And that includes things like Liquid Meadows and how that'll all shift towards it too. So, yes. Same person asking about the build system. Are there any plans to improve the current build system, like being able to give an icon to the wooden storage crate for fast sorting and a clean look? Yeah, absolutely. We want to expand it and give more options. That's always one of the directions we want to go in. Never stop grinding to make it look great. Improving it, making the snapping better, which is one of the things I think we saw in the video last week too. The snapping for the walls and how much cleaner that is too on the Z-axis. So yes, and that's definitely a good idea for the crates as well. I mean, even like me, that's one of the things that I like doing. I like I like keeping all my things organized. I don't like guesswork. I like to know when I look at a crate or anything else in any game, I can tell by looking at it and where it is. I already know what's in there, and that saves me a lot of time. So yeah, great question.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we already have the icons on the chest, right? I think
Yep.
this was from before we implemented it, but yeah, if you hold shift and scroll, you can change the look of your storage crate, and then you can choose your icon, so you can already split it a bit. But like for me, in survival games, I was most likely the guy who ran into the base, put everything in one chest, and my
Oh,
other
bro.
and the other players sorted it for me. So I knew where the chests were, but I just dumped all my inventory and went on farming.
Our FC leader would have had you in the gulag for that kind of thing. Like, man, ain't no way. Are you kidding me? You're the guy who does that? I'm back from adventuring. Ha, here you go. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, I bring the good loot, right?
It's someone else's
I
job
have
to
to get out
organize it?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I provide the good gear, and it would take too much time for me to learn where everything is in the base, right? So I just dump everything in a chest and then go.
What about when you want it? What about when you're out there one day and you go, oh, you know what? I just realized I need some gold ingots. What chest they in again?
Yeah, I mean, I if I play solo, I organize my chests. But like a lot of times, I play I play with people who like to organize, so that's
Oh, okay. You're
also a
being
thing, right?
generous. You're
So
giving them something to do.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm doing my. I don't take the fun stuff away, right?
What a guy.
Yeah, I really like the auto sorting features. Like in for example in Terraria, you can just dump, you run past your chests and basically everything gets auto sorted in them, and then you will never have to do it.
Unbelievable.
All right. Right, but enough from my looting. You die asks, will there be a possibility to build half wall stairs, etc. in the future? I mean, we already have the possibility to build stairs and also to flip them, to mirror them. I think that was the main focus of the question, because that wasn't possible at the start, but nowadays you can also switch the mesh of the stairs to flip them or to mirror them, and there's also more to come. And the second question is it possible to add a function that upgrades the builded walls, etc., without having to delete the old ones and build new ones? Like wood, stone, granite, metal, kind of like, I don't know if you played it, the Rust system, right, where you just upgrade it. And that's something we definitely look into, and we plan to do. We are currently looking into different options how to do that the best way. One would be that you basically need different hammers to upgrade it into different resource types, right? And yeah, then you would basically have a stone hammer. You hit it with the stone hammer. This takes the stone resource and makes the wall to a stone wall, for example. That would be a possibility. But yeah, we also take feedback on that. If you have suggestions how we could solve this the best way, yeah.
Yep. Listen, Longus, I do agree when it comes from crafting, being able to craft and craft from chests for sure. But eventually, I think the natural evolution of a game, as we've seen so far in Coreborn, is eventually it's going to lead to needing those individual materials for something else entirely. To get those materials, to use alchemy or metamorphosis to evolve them into better materials, to sell them on the auction house for the FC or guild's funds, to trade with another player, to use for a limited time event where it says if you give me 5 gold ingots, then I'll give you a gold subligar. And then you're like, oh, okay, now where are they? Oh, right, they're scattered everywhere because we've been using the craft from chest option because Exilius showed up and said, well, have fun. Look at the Oiso. They're not having it. Oisu's not having it.
Oh, yeah, I also played a lot of games with me. He knows how I play. he knows how I put everything in the chest.
The expectation is set. Good. Looks like we're winding down now to our last question. 2 from the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. Gary or Jerry says, how much influence do the players have on the world and the events that take place in it? So here's the thing, right? We don't really have a sandbox, and there are boundaries of what is possible along the way. With that being said, WIP soon, you never know what's going to happen in the future. So we plan to have a thing where regions can work together to, work together to get something unlocked, for example, or expand it to a world requirement to work together to progress on all the servers. I think, what was the game that did that? Like Rift, I think it was. They used to have like
Rift. I mean, World of Warcraft also did it, right? In Classic with the Ankyrai opening.
Yeah.
You had a war effort. You had to.
So it's a cool idea.
It's a cool feature.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a direction that we could definitely go on to, and I like that. Everyone competing for the same goal and watching the world change when you do it. And the follow-up question was, will there also be adventurers whose outcome will influence the lore and the further course of the game, like claiming and losing territories? Not the best example. Their words, not mine. As we said before, to some degree, yes. Having a big influence in the lore is unlikely. Because again, not an RPG, so it's not about the lore. It's about the survival and the experience along the way. It's just, it's a quagmire of ideas right there that we can take away from, and they're looking to be implemented. There's always, the team's always putting forth ideas like, ooh, what if we did this? Ooh, what if we did this? Like, there's an entire section dedicated to the idea of like, hey, you know what if we did this? Like, I saw it from this. I was outside and I saw this and go, what if we did that but in our game? So we see the vision. You're right there with us.
Yeah, and I mean, all is dependent on feedback, right? I mean, there's some ideas users have that can be incorporated in a lot of things that we can implement, and that's always great.
Yes, which is why we keep giving out the surveys and the feedback section, and like we say every update, if you look, our update's divided into two parts. Is the roadmap what was promised, and what you all say you want. If you go back to the feedback section and say, I want this in the game, it's prioritized if we can put it in there, and then the next update is out there. And I think that's been one of the most highly praised features, is the frequency of updates since our launch and the things that we implement and how frequently update them. And people come back to the game and go, oh, you put that in there. Oh, great. I was wondering if that would happen. Thank you. We appreciate that. So it's equal parts roadmap and equal parts your influence along the way and asking the right questions. Yes. So good.
Yeah.
That's the entirety of the Q&A. We did it. Monster clap.
We did it.
Hey.
Nice.
No, not Akira. A quagmire. Quagmire. It's like a predicament, or like a muddle mess of things. And sometimes our ideas are like that. It's like a mess of ideas that are all over the place, trying to figure out how to put them together so they're not so muddy. It's a bit clear and it's not as clumsy. So there you go. Wait, what is this? Question 3. It's nice seeing the other side of the spectrum right there, like in terms of like the spectrum of I want things easy and the spectrum of I want things difficult. Anyway, Coreborn can become an endless grind, something like leveling masonry from 99 to 100. Oh, so you want Coreborn Classic. So we have WoW Classic and WoW Regular. You want Coreborn now and Coreborn Classic. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Yeah, we also need a hardcore service for Grieshten, right? Where you only die once, basically.
Yes.
And then you have to restart. That might be an idea.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll put that in our idea box. Hardcore Classic Coreborn. For sure. No problem. We got you, long schlongus. So that was a great Q&A. Again, apologies that it took so long. Our bad. But we did get to it. And I think, honestly, it sounds like backpedaling, but I think one of the things that makes this Q&A being so delayed answered so great is that if you think back to a lot of these questions of, can you do this? Will you do this? Wouldn't it be nice if you do that? About 1/3 of those questions were things we said, oh yeah, we've already done that, or oh yeah, you've already seen flashes of that implemented. So it shows the Q&A of the things that you wanted. Now that we're here answering them, a lot of them have already taken place. And that shows the power of your Q&A. and what we put in the game.
Yeah.
So
That's
thank you.
great. I mean, yeah. It's a lot of also thank you for all the feedback, all the suggestions, all the also the bug reports, right? Those are those are the things that keep me awake. And if I get a bug report in the evening, I can already fix it or look for a fix for it, potential fix, or the at least the reason at the next day in the morning.
Very true. I it's so funny because, you know, he's on CEST in Germany, so he's 6 hours ahead of me. And so like when I'm like I love working at nighttime. So I'll be working on stuff at like 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. my time. And like there's no way anybody from like Blankhans is awake right now. I'll look over there and I'll see Exilius active. Only person who's active. Rest of them are just ZZZs offline away. And there he is with an active bar next to his name. And I'm like, the hell is he doing?
Yeah, but that would be too much credit. I like I also sleep sometimes, but yeah, sometimes I have to I check something real quick, or I do I write one report. Yeah.
It's a good report.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean a nice bug report. Sometimes I forgot something, right, and then I have to edit. Like I made a bug report that you can see it in the video, and then the next day I realized should have attached the video to that report, right?
True. But
And
you make it work.
then you edit.
Oh yeah, you do play Coreborn. Some people, you're in that small group of people that I see awake, or I have our messaging program open and I get the little alert and I'm like, who the hell is messaging me by time? Oh, it's Renee. Why can't he sleep? Even tells me his local time and I'm like, what is he doing awake at 2:42 a.m.? Go back to bed. Good things to do. Go play with your cats. That was a fun little Q&A, and thank you all for participating. This will not be the last Q&A. I would reckon that we're probably due for another Q&A very soon. Not really a WIP. We'll just call it soon. A soon TM, the classic. So as things progress, we'll have that. Just message me, Adrian, if you are lonely. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. I like this. Yeah. Good answer. Watching my stream. I would self-promote right now, but it's not my time to self-promote. Instead, Michael, Exilius, what about you?
Should I promote your stream?
No, no.
Like honestly, I tuned in from time to time. It was pretty funny.
Hey!
I did it undercover, but yeah, sometimes when I wake at night, I check in, see what you're up to.
I'll take pretty funny. I was born a little too late for 40 under 40 and 30 under 30 and 20 under 20 lists, but I'm hoping to make that 50 under 50 list. So we'll see.
Nice.
As far as you, Exilius, do you have anything you want to promote? Do you have a stream? Do you have a book you're working on? Is there a short film that you're doing for A24? Like, what do we got going on?
No, I mean, as long as the players provide me with bug reports, I'm happy, right? And I don't have anything that I could promote here.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing.
You don't
Maybe someday. Maybe this is the start of my Twitch career now.
Yeah, see, coming out of your shell. He said he was shy. I said he's got a great personality to listen to. This is your start right here. All you gotta be is personable, and you have that. You know, smiling, laughing, having a good time. That's jokes. How about this? If you do Halloween, what Halloween candy are you most looking forward to eating?
I think Kit Kats.
Don't say candy corn, please.
I think Kit Kats. Like, is that
Kit
a Halloween
Kats.
candy? Like we did Kit Kats, yeah.
Oh,
Kit Kats.
Okay, cool. Kit Kats work.
Like, yeah, I guess.
Don't
like
they have
don't have that exotic.
Don't they have the new Kit Kats that are like green, the Halloween versions? I know Twix has that.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet. No.
Oh, man.
I mean, I mostly stick to the default Kit Kat or the hazelnut one. That's really nice.
Good situation. I like that. Modusko said, I'm on the 8 billion under 8 billion list. I feel like that number is very accurate towards the world's population, but you know what? A W is a W, right? Movie to see
Yes,
a
we
haunting
all are
event.
on the same list and with Modusko.
Yes, so we're right there with the Modusko. We're competing for that. That is the world. Yeah, 8 billion. That's the world population for sure. I'll take it. Anybody? What we can do a little short Q&A for Michael if you want to. We'll make it a 2-minute Q&A. So, and if any of you have any burning questions for Exilius that you've been meaning to ask. Oh, you know, while we get the questions pulled up, I meant to show you something. Check this out. I was hoping you could provide some insight on this because your tagline says quality assurance manager / pro adventure player. Walk me through this clip right here. Remember this?
Yeah. And it looks like I'm winning there. I mean, I have pretty high points, right?
Yeah. It's the funny thing is, this is a 30-second clip, and within 30 seconds, you go from a score of 3 to a score of 5. Just like that. It is so obnoxious to play against this dude. You all have no idea.
Yeah, but that's also like a lot of skill involved, right? I mean I QA tested here, right? I know all the shortcuts and stuff like that, so I guess like
like, hey, here's Michael. Exilius beating me up, and he's like, yeah, dude. The thing is, there's a lot of skill involved, so maybe that's why you're getting your ass beat.
could be a skill issue.
It's a skill issue. Wonderful.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to play against people who know how to stop mid-air, right, and change direction, because that's sometimes deciding games, right?
Would you say? Let me ask this question really quickly. Is there anyone better than you?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I don't really have that much training anymore, right? I don't play that much. I mean, they all get better and better. Like I'm already afraid to queue up on the live servers because if I don't know if yeah, I think Warsu also trained a lot. Like I had problems fighting against Warsu. I mean, Spezi also won one time, but I mean, I still can say it was testing back then. So yeah, I mean, people getting better in the game, and I'm not training that much anymore. But yeah, it's always fun, right? There's also this random factor.
I agree. That's exactly what it's a random factor. Zero skill involved. Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. Maybe it was only randomness, right? That I thought was skill, but could be that I was just lucky, which happens sometimes. Yeah.
I see 3 questions, and we'll do one of them, and I'll answer the other 2. This will be a good PR question for you from Greece. When is Dark as the Night and why Halloween XD? This guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Greece knows everything, but like I don't know when Dark as the Night is coming. I know it's soon.
Soon TM.
It's soon TM.
There you go. We beaten him on day 1. Okay. So right here, Modusko said, was the team able to take a little rest from the stressful EA release, and how is the mood in the team? That is a great question. And paired with that, well, actually, Coreborn already answered the Karai Seraph one. So that's a great question, and it's actually going to be our question as we cascade offline. This is the perfect question to ask. Is that, yeah, EA was a stressful release time. There was a lot of work done by a lot of people, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but a lot of work was accomplished too. And a lot of times the questions in the QA was, how do you feel about the release? How do you feel about where it is? How do you feel about where it could be? And so those are the kind of questions that don't fit well in a one paragraph answer or a one sentence answer, or to be answered by a quality assurance manager and a social media manager. So instead, now we have a long documentation. So to answer that question perfectly, we actually have a blog post out on Blank Hands right now, and we're about to post a link to that in the Discord. So as soon as this stream ends, you will be able to go to the Discord. There will be an announcement in the Coreborn news section with the link that you can click that will fully answer that question. Not only your question, Madoska, but also a little bit Karai Seraph of what you were discussing right there. So any inquiries you have around that, you'll have an answer for it. And I think you'll find it very insightful, several paragraphs long. So put aside some time for reading. A lot of good stuff in there you can read and look forward to, and a lot of answers to some questions, which I think is beneficial. And the cool thing too is we're not just leaving the stream on that note, because it's been a great stream with Michael and Exilius, but next week we're going to have the return of Urari. Renee's coming back. How about that?
That's great.
Yeah, this
I'm
time
already looking forward to it.
You can be in the chat harassing him this time, Exilius.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the stream.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask some questions.
Yes, put his feet to the fire, because I won't skip over them. I'm gonna highlight every single one of them. Like, oh, Exilius says, how about that? Wonderful. So, you have any final thoughts, Exilius? Any final things you want to say or add?
I mean, thanks a lot again for having me here, right? And thanks a lot to all the players for continuously reporting every bug they find, and also providing detailed location information if they find flying grass. That's important.
Yes, flying grass is super important. We'll highlight that one. Well, thanks, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's nice to talk to you again. I got a chance to meet him in person. Like you mentioned, people you met at Gamescom. I met Michael at Gamescom.
That's true, yeah.
It was a great time.
It was really nice.
Yeah, dude. It was a nice little chill evening. Got some good eats in there and everything else. Got out before the dancing started. Good times.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Exilius, for joining us. We'll let you bow out. Everyone say goodbye to Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye.
There he goes. We'll go ahead and get out of there and go here. Well, there you go, everyone. That was your time with Exilius. You kept asking to see him and to hear from him and have his presence here. And there it was the entire time. And he is ever present and omnipresent in the Discord. So anytime you want to talk to him again or speak to him about resource delegation and proper organization, take it to Discord, off topic section, and let him know how you feel about that. As promised, as soon as the stream ends, I would invite all of you please to go to the Discord for Coreborn and head over to the Coreborn news section with the appropriate link that you can click. And as always, if you didn't get a chance to watch the entirety of this stream and you want to watch it later on this evening, for a lot of you in Germany, when you wake up in the morning, you will find this on YouTube and highlighted on our Twitch page.